All right, let's go. Ready?
Ready. So what are we going to be talking about today?
Living in Afton Oaks.
So if that's what you're here for, oh, is it just living in Afton Oaks?
No, the pros and cons.
Pros and cons. Well, if that's what you're here for, stick around. We're going to be getting after it right now.
All right, Afton Oaks.
No. You ready? You ready to do the thing?
Go.
First of all, you guys, who are you?
I'm Drew Mims.
And I'm Kerry Fletcher, and together we're
Drew Kerry.
Drew Kerry. It's a little bit silly, but easy to remember. So look, this channel is all about living here in Houston, Texas. The goods, the bads, the pros, the cons, all the different neighborhoods. So if that's what you're looking for, go ahead and
hit that subscribe button.
Ring that bell. That way, every time we put out a new video, you're notified. And look, if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. If you don't like it, tell us why down in the comments. And hey, if there's an area that you want us to go take a look at, if you want us to vlog, if you want us to do the research on, let us know down in the comments. We're helping people move to Houston, Texas all the time. So when you're ready, just give us a call. Send us a text message, send us that email, heck, even send us a note via
Pony Express.
Any which way you want to reach out to us, we've got your back and moving here to Houston. So let's get into it. The pros and cons of living in Afton Oaks.
Let's do it. All right.
Number one.
Number one, the first pro. It's close to some of Houston's best shopping. I don't know about you guys, if you like to shop, if you hate to shop. It's super convenient because it's all right there. It's you could either walk, take an Uber, or a very short drive. They've got good parking, more so at some places than others. So I would say the number one shopping place that's close by is the Galleria, which is a huge, gosh, there's over 350 retail stores there. It's beautiful. They've got an ice skating rink. There's lots of, restaurants, things to do. At Christmas time, you can even adopt a dog from the ASPCA out of the window at Neiman Marcus, and you can tell everybody you bought your dog at Neiman's.
Which that's on our list to do, right?
Except they're, it's a small adoption fee, I think.
Yeah.
Yep. So it is mixed use. Then you've got Highland Village, which is, and Galleria is just outside the loop, but it's super close. You're just literally driving down Westheimer a few blocks and right under the freeway, and boom, there you are in the Galleria, in the whole uptown area. Highland Village is within walking distance of Afton Oaks.
I prefer Highland Village. I like it. A lot of really nice restaurants that I like to go to there.
Yeah, so it's, we're gonna touch on that in a minute.
Okay,
right now we're just talking about shopping.
Shopping.
So there are stores like Anthropologie, J. Crew, Crate and Barrel, Pottery Barn.
The Apple Store.
I think there's a Sur La Table, Apple Store. Lots of shopping.
There's a Lucchese Boots. There's a King Ranch. I like the Apple.
James Avery for jewelry.
Oh yeah. I like the Apple Store there because it's, just premier customer service, and you can always get help with whatever you need.
It's true. Okay. Very convenient. And hopefully they'll open again one of these days. Since COVID, all the Apple stores have been closed.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I don't know why you're sorry. it's sad. So the newest shopping center that's super close by, it's literally 2 blocks from Highland Village, just on the other side of the railroad tracks, is the River Oaks Shopping District, which is a whole nother level. It's an outdoor shopping center that's, again, mixed use. You've got restaurants, you've got an iPic movie theater, you've got nail salons, some hair salons, and it's very high-end shopping, such as Dolce & Gabbana, and you've got Harry Winston and Cartier, Hermès, the list goes on. So if that's your thing, it's a great place, and it's beautiful. It's a really beautiful setting, the way that they designed it. I highly recommend going over there. You don't even feel like you're in Houston. You feel more like you're in Beverly Hills. It's got a nice swanky, luxurious feeling to it. Anyway, you won't be disappointed. And then you're also very close to Central Market, which is another premier grocery store that, gosh, you can even go there and take cooking lessons. They've got something for everybody, just their sauce selection. And
don't they have like a little beer and wine section where they'll serve you something to drink there at the Central Market?
I believe they do. And they've also just got, I mean, the selection is incredible, really and truly. And they've got a really good bakery, and oh my gosh, like just even they've got all the pâtés, and anyway, making me hungry. Number two, pro. Close to some really good restaurants.
Yeah,
so
I sort of jumped the gun on that one. She started talking about shopping areas, and I immediately started thinking about food.
Of course, shocking. So in the River Oaks Shopping District, you've got restaurants like Le Colonial, Toulouse, which is one of my favorite French restaurants. You've got Steak 48, Hop Dottie, which Hop Dottie was originally, I think, in Austin, and now they've opened a couple of locations here in Houston, and there's always a line out the door. It's a popular burger joint. P.F. Jang's, Sweet Paris.
Now you were telling
Raw
me
Sushi.
You were telling me that right there in Richmond, which is in the middle of River Oaks, there's a lot of well-established local restaurants that have been around since the 70s and 80s.
No. Mm-mm. That's on Richmond, and that's on
That's
the
what
other.
I said, on Richmond.
On Afton, okay, but on the edge of Afton Oaks, not River
We're talking
Oaks.
about Afton Oaks.
Okay.
Afton Oaks pros and cons. And Richmond runs right through the middle of Afton Oaks. And we're talking about restaurants.
Yes, there are some older.
Great restaurants. I'd rather go to Lulu.
I'm really butthurt right now.
I'd rather go to Luling Barbecue than P.F. Jang's.
Okay, so if you're like my husband, then you can head over to Richmond, and there's some really long-standing restaurants. You've got Luling City Meat Market if you like barbecue. You've got Floyd's Ragin'. I'm not Floyd's. Oh gosh, that's a different place. You have Ragin' Cajun.
Yep. Okay, so we are in Afton Oaks. We just crossed over the railroad tracks right behind me, just off of Richmond here, and I wanted to take a chance. Hey, wanted to take a chance and do a quick shout out to the Ragin' Cajun, and also the LA bar, Louisiana bar. We talked about this. It's a great place, especially when crawfish is in season. Wonderful spot to come and hang out here in the heart of Afton Oaks.
So if you like crawfish and seafood, that's going to be the place for you. It's very happening during crawfish season. And then there's another seafood market, restaurant, and anyway, you've got even Escalante's back over in Highland Village. So between, and then Galleria, you've got a whole other slew. You've got Cheesecake Factory, and the list goes on there as well. So we'll put some links down underneath the video so that you can check out all of the amazing. Houston is somewhat known for its restaurants. I mean, you can't go wrong here. There's just, wow. You could eat out for every meal and still be trying new restaurants probably for a long time.
I got together with some buddies of mine just this week, and they both live out, and one of them lives out in Sugar Land, the other one lives out in Fulshire, out in the burbs. And whenever we get together, we always come into the inner loop. And I asked them, I said, well, guys, why do we always come in here? Why do we get together here? And Ryan's comment was, look, whenever you're out in the suburbs, you have all these national chains, but when you come into Houston, when you come into this inner loop, or you come in around these areas, you've got
more
original restaurants, mom and pops, concepts. You've got so many more choices that just aren't available.
We have a lot of award-winning chefs here in Houston, so we can't cover. I mean, I think we could do a video sometime just on
food.
All of the food in Houston. That's amazing. So the one thing I didn't mention, well, two things. One, there is a Starbucks in Highland Village, which is right on the edge of Afton Oaks. So for all those coffee junkies out there, it's there. The other thing is that in the River Oaks Shopping District, there's a state-of-the-art Equinox gym that's huge. So after you've eaten all these meals, you've got a beautiful gym to go burn off all those calories,
Yeah.
which I'm sure coming up in January, there will be a lot of people there working out.
Yeah.
Okay, number 3.
Number 3.
It's an easy commute.
Yeah. So you're located right next to 610 on the west side, 59 on the south. You have Richmond that runs right through the middle, and then you have Westheimer, which is just to the north. So, I mean, if you need to get anywhere, Med Center, need to get out of town,
Greenway Plaza, downtown, Galleria.
it is a super easy commute.
And even to the Energy Corridor, or if
Right.
if you worked out at, for example, like Schlumberger out in Sugarland,
Right.
that would be super easy to just hop on 59 right there.
Yep.
And go south really easily. So that's a huge one in Houston, because if you know about Houston traffic,
Yeah.
it's key to have easy accessibility to freeways, and also just if you want to go have options to take the back roads, if you want to stay off the congested freeways, you can do that. Afton Oaks is really good, convenient place for that. Okay, number 4. Would you like to do the honors?
Zoned to good schools.
So the elementary school is called School at St. George Place, and it's very, very well rated and a popular elementary school. The middle school is Lanier, and the high school is Lamar. And those are all Houston Independent School District schools. So if you're looking for private school option, St. John's is right down the street, and it's an excellent school. And then there's, of course, a whole other slew of private school options.
What's that Episcopal one?
Well, there's Episcopal High School that's just down the loop
Just
and
south
over
of there,
in Bel Air.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, number 5. Great community atmosphere. You've got a really strong civic association that does a really good job of enforcing the deed restrictions and keeping it, just a beautiful place. I mean, one of the things I like the most about Afton Oaks is that even though you're right in the middle of the city, you've got these big lots and these tree-lined streets, and it feels like a neighborhood.
And it is. It's its own little unique neighborhood that has its own little feel. Like neighbors all, you never can say neighbors all know each other. But if you're looking for that small town, hometown feel within the inner loop, Afton Oaks is a good spot. And we're going to put down in the description a link to the Afton Oaks Civic Organization. It's a wealth of information, and you can check it out, and all the activities that they've got going on, all the things that they sponsor, information on the deed restrictions. So it's all right there at your fingertips.
So number 6, which is probably what most people are interested in also, strong property values. The median price in 2010 was $831,145. And so over the last 10 years, that has had a 32% increase.
Yeah, which isn't, it's not like
2020.
Yeah, so it's not like a super hot, the prices are going up incredibly all the time, but it's a good, steady year in, year out. And during that 10-year span, you've had major hits to pricing in the 2008 crash. And then again, Houston got hit pretty hard with the oil crash in 2014. And it's sustained both of those and still had a good return on investment of about 32% over that same 10-year period.
So it's a good solid, I think.
Now this Afton Oaks was settled or formed in 1955, I think you were telling me.
Yep.
And so there's a lot of homes that were built, these single-story ranch homes built in the 1955. I can imagine one of the things that's
built in the 1955.
The 50s. Thank you. She's always getting on to my language. But there's been just this reinvestment in the neighborhood of either tearing down older homes and building new homes on those larger lots, but also a lot of people staying true to that architecture and just going in and completely renovating. So you'll find a lot of homes that are smaller, on the big lots, single story, that have been completely renovated and look new on the inside.
So you've got a selection of older homes. If you want a clean slate, if you want to go in and do the, refurb, like remodel yourself and totally update it, you can do that. Or you can buy a beautifully remodeled one-story ranch style home with a detached garage, or you can tear one down and go in and build, your dream home. The lots are large enough that you can really build a pretty powerful 2-story home on that. Number 7. It's not in the flood zone.
Yay!
Which is really huge in Houston because a lot of Houston floods. And so living somewhere that's not in a flood zone gives a huge peace of mind because it's a big hassle if your house floods. And even if, your street floods, that can be a hassle.
Well,
nobody enjoys losing their car.
And so we're going to cut in a map of the flood zone area, and you'll see that down south of there, places like West U and Bel Air have some flooding and some flooding issues. But the big driving factors for not being in the flood zone are kind of twofold. One, flood insurance, because no matter where you live in Houston, whether you're in a flood zone, not in a flood zone, we always advise
all of our clients to get flood insurance.
Get flood insurance.
Irregardless of whether you're in the flood zone or not. It's peace of mind. You never know. We've had some really crazy storms that have just come out of nowhere without a lot of warning in the past.
But if you're not in a flood zone, then it's just that much more affordable. And the second thing is, because we've had so many issues with floods and there's been so many issues with renovations, that what happens is whenever you apply for a permit to renovate a home, you have to go in and certify that the home is 2 feet above the
floodplain,
the 500-year floodplain, which means if you're in the Afton Oaks area, it's one less thing that you have to do and one less thing that you have to take care of.
Yep. And if you're not in the flood zone, which you're not in Afton Oaks, the insurance for flooding is so affordable, and it just will offer you that little extra peace of mind. Okay.
Now that we've sold you on Afton Oaks and it's the place that you absolutely have to live, let's talk about some of the cons.
Yeah, we're gonna get to the dirty part.
Go ahead.
Down and dirty. All right, the number 1 con on my list is traffic congestion. So while you have easy access to the freeways and really good major through streets to get you places, you're also surrounded by Galleria and downtown and Greenway Plaza, people commuting in and out of Houston every day. And so you've just got a lot of traffic congestion, not just during rush hour.
When we looked at that study put out by Texas A&M, and 7 of the top 12 most congested highways or zones within Texas were right here in that area, and 2 of them were 59 and the western part of the 610 loop. So
between 59 and I-10 on 610 West, that strip of freeway is, there are times when there's no traffic. Sunday morning.
Oh, lots of times.
Late at night, but
when it gets backed up.
In the morning, lunchtime, and rush hour, like Monday through Friday, it's pretty congested. So the number two con.
Along with the traffic would be
the noise from the freeways. So living in Afton Oaks, and it depends really where you're situated within the neighborhood. But if you are on the south side of Richmond and you're closer to 610,
like 59,
or
south side,
610 or 59.
Okay,
He loves to correct me.
If you're near the west side, near 610, or the south side, near 59, you're going to have to deal with the traffic noise.
When you're outside, if you're in a newer home, it's going to be insulated to where you're not going to probably hear the traffic noise. Now, if you are in a more internal part of the neighborhood, there's definitely more insulation, I think. But just something to be aware of when you're out looking at houses. And of course, we would help guide you with that as far as noise. The number 3 con is that it's more expensive. It's more expensive to live in Afton Oaks than, a lot of neighborhoods. in Houston. And a lot of that is going to depend on what you're looking for, what your budget is, and what's important to you. If you want to have a large lot and, you know,
Lots of trees
and be walkable, or have that walkability factor if that's important to you, and you want to, you know, not have to have a long commute, you know, I think this is a really good option, but you're going to have to deal with the fact that you're going to pay a little bit more for that convenience. The least expensive home right now on the market in Afton Oaks is $850,000. And I would venture to say that it's a tear down. It's either a tear down or you're going to need to go in. I think remodel. The last time it was updated, it already looks dated.
Right.
And, you know, again, you're going to spend probably upwards of, you can get new construction, some newer construction, you know, over a little bit over 1.6, but more than likely you're going to pay closer to 2 million. But you can find, you know, nicely remodeled homes in that 1.2 to 1.6 range, or 2 million. Okay, number 4, and which is our last con, but not least. You want to make sure that you buy a house that's not too close to the railroad tracks.
Well, I mean, just a con, the fact that it's got a railroad.
Unless you grew up near railroad tracks, the sound doesn't bother you, and you don't mind getting stuck behind the train.
For me, the way that I would characterize this con is the fact that you have a railroad track. So, and it's active. You're occasionally gonna have to get stuck waiting, crossing the road there at the railroad tracks. There's gonna be the noise of the railroad tracks. Now, it is a no blow zone, so you're not gonna have the heavy whistle, but you are gonna have railroad tracks going through there. And most people don't think about railroad tracks when you think about these nice high-end neighborhoods, but Houston is a big, bustling trade port, and all of its railroad tracks remain pretty active.
Yeah, and you can, I mean, it's hard, you'd be hard pressed to find, I think, a home inside the loop where you're not going to hear some sort of train, but it would be in the distance, right? It's not, so you just want to make sure that you're not right on top of the tracks, and just take it into consideration. I think that's our last con. So we've given you a lot to think about today in terms of the pros and cons of living in Afton Oaks. Ultimately, it's going to be up to you as to whether you think the pros outweigh the cons. So if you are...
Let us know in the comment section.
Yeah, please do. We'd love to hear it. And if you have any questions or want to know more about Afton Oaks, if you have questions about tax rates, that kind of thing, give us a call or shoot us a text.
Send us an email. Even send us a note via...
Pony Express.
Any which way you want to communicate with us. We do this all the time. We are glad to help you transition here to the city of Houston.
Yeah, we're helping people here all the time, and we love what we do, and we'd love to work with you.
Bye now.